CVC group, and they're going to tell us what CVC does, and they also play a role in the business school.
So we'll, Thank you. I'm Jeff Saperstein. My colleague Dr. Hastings will follow. We see ourselves as being intermediaries between academia and business, as we were introduced. And we've authored a book, Service Thinking, 7 Principles to Discover Innovative Opportunities, with the accent on discover innovative opportunities, taking service science and creating a framework from existing knowledge in such a way that students in business schools, as well as entrepreneurs, as well as managers in globally integrated enterprises or regional small and medium-sized enterprises, can all use these principles to discover innovative opportunities for themselves. So broadening this, we don't presume to have the answers to these questions, but we think that we need to be discussing our programs in light of some of these issues. First, all of us who are involved in teaching have to address the problem of how do we prepare people to participate in the emergent economy, and not only to participate in it, to be employed in it, but in a way that's meaningful and purposeful for them, which may be very different than for others. So we're looking at a very, very big problem. Let me use an analogy that also helps to frame this problem. What we're doing here in this conference, one could liken to a hot tub. I'm from Marin County, so we tend to think in terms of hot tubs and water. Well, in a hot tub, you're kind of relaxed and you're being nurtured, and in a conference, there's no real expectation for you to be able to perform anything. You're being delivered, nurtured, and it is a wonderful experience. If you're in academia, you're in a swimming pool because there are lanes, you're matriculating, there are courses, there's a degree, there are rules. We kind of expect there to be predictability and a certain amount of certainty in an academic environment, just like you would have lanes in a swimming pool. However, the world of work, and particularly the world of work that we have heard about this morning and that we're going to talk about this afternoon, is neither a hot tub nor a swimming pool. It's the ocean. And the ocean is uncertain. And every one of us, and certainly the young people that are coming on, are going to experience oceans, not swimming pools and hot tubs. Because how do you navigate in uncertainty is one of the issues of our time that service thinking and service science should be addressing. In addition to how we participate in the economy, we have to be looking at how are we going to address big problems. The late Doug Engelbart talked about this in terms of having tools such as the internet that enable groups of individuals to address big problems in healthcare, transportation, etc. How do we look at transforming and disrupting inefficient legacy systems that we all are accustomed to, and asking questions to imagine the unimaginable, to change legacy systems? We heard about it today with the airlines, right? Those were legacy systems that somehow don't fit. And how do we enable people everywhere to discover innovative opportunities? How do we broaden this from just people who happen to live in Palo Alto or by Route 128? How do we broaden this so that everybody can participate? These are very big questions. So when we look at service thinking, we're looking at an emergent digital experience economy, where you have the service economy. People talked about that. But we're looking at a digital economy. A digital economy and platforms such as cloud and analytics enable opportunities in a different way than the traditional service economy did. And in looking at this, we're looking at experiences. Experiences in an era of subjectivity. Can we be able to look at every customer as an individual and fulfill that customer's needs with them on a spontaneous basis, not simply as part of a system that has been prescribed or engineered? One expression that one engineer talked to us about is, we don't want to pour concrete into all of our business processes. They need to be flexible. They need to be adaptable. So this gets into a bigger question. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Hunter Hastings, is who owns this data? Who owns what happens? Now, if we look at the opportunities and we look at, say, healthcare, well, wouldn't it be wonderful if I had a sensor in my body and that sensor could say, hey, Jeff, compared to all the other people who have your profile, go into the hospital in a week because likelihood is you're going to have a stroke or you're going to have a disease. We can anticipate based on your gene map, we can anticipate based on your metabolism, we can even give you medicine that can be dispensed every day. Why should I take the same pill with the same milligrams every day when my metabolism is different? This is a wonderful thing. But what happens when I get a call from my insurance company, say, Jeff, we've taken a look at your gene pool and we're now putting you into a high risk category because down the road you might have some problems? Or what happens if I can't get a mortgage because the banking industry has gotten a hold of that gene pool and said, you know what, you might not be alive in 5 years, we don't want to give you a loan. What's the downsides of data? And one of the engineers that we've worked with said we need to have data with soul. We need to have data with soul. That getting a credit report in which we have no idea where the number came from because somebody may have had identity theft on our credit card without the regulations, without, we're looking at uncertainty with data. So there's wonderful things that can happen, and there are things that are not as wonderful that can happen. And I think part of our responsibility is to look at the implications of that and to create opportunities with emotion and with empathy for the customer experience and how they experience from the provider. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Hunter Hastings.